Hi everyone, it's time for the Hop for Jaded Blossoms August release, and I'm making a quick set of cards today for you using the rainbow dies, the glasses dies, the spring dies 2, Happy Hello, the stylized rectangles, and the scallop rectangle dies. So here we go. I'm also using Lawn Fawn inks in Carrot, Merman, Lobster, Sunflower, Fresh Lavender, and Freshly Cut Grass. And there we are. I've got them lined up. Now what I did was I went ahead and cut out the rainbow dies, and I removed the little, colored portions, and I'm going to be sponging on some color with each one. This one I'm using Freshly Cut Grass, and I'm using Tailored Expressions blending brushes. So I'm just going to show you the first one, how I went ahead and did it, and then I'll be assembling the cards because I'm making a 5-card set today. Now I'm using Merman, and I'm going to be inking the next rainbow piece. Now I'm working on my, what's it called, Stampin' Up! It's like a paper pad that you can work on, and I really like that when I'm doing some ink blending. Not when I'm using stencils, but when I'm just putting ink on a die cut, I like to use that, and I'll flip it over and use it again and again. And that color is Fresh Lavender. And then I'm going to go ahead and do the last piece in Lobster. Now you'll notice that each rainbow that I did is a little bit different, but I'm basically keeping in the order, but I'm like, altering where the color starts and stops. So there we are. So now what I did was I traced the outside of the rainbow die and I cut just inside the line on a piece of scrap paper. And now I'm adding ATG to it. And this is how I put all my rainbows together. The idea of this was that I wanted to pop my rainbows up. So I wanted them on something solid. And this was the best way that I came up with doing it. So basically trace the outer edge, cut just inside the line. Now I'm going to be applying the backing, or the back piece to the rainbow, and it'll stick right down to the HEG tape, which is pretty handy. And then all I have to do is pop in my colors in rainbow order. So I'm starting out with the Freshly Cut Grass, then I'll be using Merman, and then the next one is Fresh Lavender, and then the last one is Lobster. Now I'm using Lawn Fawn inks and Lawn Fawn pattern papers today. So I don't know if you know this, but if you stay with, most people know this, but if you stay within one company regarding their inks and papers, usually a lot of them match, and it just makes things easy. So there we are. I basically cut out all my images really quickly with all my dies, and I cut out using my different Lawn Fawn papers there. I also made paper tray ink white A2 horizontal card bases. Now I used watercolor, perfectly plaid, rainbow, spiffy speckles, and knock on wood, all from Lawn Fawn for their pattern papers for the backgrounds. And like I said, I cut everything out. Now the glasses I cut out of, I think it's like a shiny black paper. I'm not sure where it was from, but basically that's what I cut the dies out of. And I'm here trying to apply my Craft Tacky glue from Simon Says Stamp. It got kind of clogged up just because there was a little bit of time that I waited before I started making these. So you know how that happens. So that's the largest stylized rectangle scallop die. So I'm using that. And then I'm using the second largest, it's just the plain stylized rectangle die, just with the stitching on each one. Each background piece, like the sky, is a different color of the rainbow that I used, on my rainbows themselves. So I really like to do this when I'm making cards. People always ask, well, how do you get your patterns all to match and stuff like that? I tend to stick to either one company or one pad of paper and pull my patterns from that. And then, everything matches and Bob's your uncle, you're all done. So there we are. I'm just lining up my background now on my stylized rectangle die. Now I'll be popping up my rainbow using my 3M foam tape. I tend to use 3M foam tape when it comes to larger items, and then I'll use my Stampin' Up! Dimensionals when it comes to smaller items, just to save on the foam tape. Because I like to make sure I have a lot on there, and because I want it to stay nice when it goes through the mail. I don't want it to get all dented. And there we are. So I like how this rips off really easily. And then I'll be popping this up on my background. And I'm just trying to center it roughly and putting it towards the bottom of the design. And I'm using my EK Success reverse tweezers there also. Now, I don't know if I said, but my paper tray ink cardstock was cut at 5.5 by 8.5 and then scored at 4.25 to give you an A2 size card. Now I'm cutting in half my spring dies, my sun, and because it'll be peeking out behind from behind the rainbow, so you won't know that it's half's missing. And then you only have to cut half the amount, right? So now I'm just sticking that down with my craft tacky glue. I'm going to squeeze that in behind my rainbow. Sometimes I have to pick up the rainbow bit, but this one worked out all right. So I'll just pop that on. And there we go. You'll notice up to your left in the viewing, in the background, I have all my stamps already stamped and heat embossed. I use that Happy Hello stamp set, and the sentiment will be Hello, my friend. And I used my Ink on 3 Juicy ink and my fine detail white embossing powder from Ranger and my Marvy heat tool just to melt all those, just to save some time. So now I'm adding my clouds, and I love these new clouds that are in with the rainbow dies. They are fabulous. I love, love, love them. I thought I loved the rainbows. I do, but I almost like the cloud shapes more. I love different clouds. I use them in my cards all the time, so it's kind of nice to get a few different ones to use, different shapes. So now I'm using, you'll notice that I'm adding a couple of Stampin' Up! Dimensionals to the back of those clouds, and I'm going to be putting those clouds at different levels on the rainbow just to give it some, added little detail, something, make it look a little different. And there we are. Now, I cut out these sentiments using my paper trimmer, and it didn't have a very sharp blade. So I don't know if you know this trick, but you can use one of those nail buffing sanding sponges, and you can just run it along the edges of your die cut or your piece of paper that you cut, and it'll take off any of those flyaway hairs, and it'll make it look nice and sharp. Next time I'll remember to change my blade. I was using my Fiskars paper trimmer, the one with the little blades. And now I'm adding my sentiments on. Like I said, those will be stacked on one of the clouds to the left. You'll notice that the cloud on the left is a little lower than the cloud on the right. I just want to give it some interest, so you don't want everything all even all the time. So there are my glasses. I ran a tuxedo black marker around the edges of them because that is a white core cardstock, and I'm fussy like that. I hate seeing the white peeking out from a black image. Call me crazy. So now I'm just dabbing off my my Simon Says Stamp Craft Tacky Glue, and I'm just applying my glasses to the center of the rainbow. All rainbows need a set of glasses. You know this. Everyone knows this. So now I'm going to be using shape sprinkles from Doodlebug, and I'll be using the ICU and the what are they called here? ICU and Eye Candy. And I'm also using their shape sprinkles called Beetle Black Sprinkles. And those are the little dots that I'm applying as the eyeballs right now in the glasses. And I'm using a pen blade just to apply those. It's just easy to take them off the plastic that way and do that. So now I'm going to be applying some of the Doodlebug little eyes to the sun. So it's sort of peeking out from behind the rainbow, sort of saying, hello, my friend. And these can be for birthdays, for thinking of you, any type of card like that. So that's the basic design there. And then I'll be going ahead and I'm adding Pretty Pink Posh's Sparkling Clear Confetti and Confetti Mix. And I'll be applying them in uneven numbers like I always do. I think I apply 5 here using glossy accents. And I'm using my Studio Katia embellishment wand to pick those up. It just makes it easy to pick them up and apply them to your card. And there we are. So I'll be applying those. Now, what are you thinking of all these awesome products from this release? I am especially loving the glasses. I love putting glasses on everything. They're my favorite. And I love the rainbow dies. And who doesn't love the 80s, right? You'll be seeing lots of cool projects from all the design team today. So you should definitely get hopping to check it all out. There we are. So now I'm going to quickly put together all the rest of my cards. So this is sped up a little bit. And this is, I'm using the same thing. I'm using the Craft Tacky Glue from Simon Says Stamp. I'm applying that to my horizontal A2 size card base. And I'll quickly do that to every single card. That's how I normally do my, what's it called? Oh, I'm losing the word. what's it called when you do something? Assembly line. When you're doing an assembly line process and you're making a bunch of cards, I'll do the same thing to each card. So there we are. So I'm applying the 2 backgrounds to each card just to make it faster. Now I put together the first card right for you, just so you could see what was going on there. And now I'll go ahead and put them together like I normally would when I'm making a card set. So now I'm just lining it up. I've said before, I like to use my craft tacky glue when I'm lining something up on a background. My eyes aren't what they used to be. And it seems to be I have the hardest time getting things straight these days. So that's what the glue's for. It gives you a little bit of playtime to, wiggle it and get it in the right spot for you. Now I'm going on and on, you'll notice. So each background, instead of using blue, I thought I'd use like a different color for each one. And I kind of like how it turned out. It's kind of funky and fun. And the colors are nice and bright. These would be good to send to kids or, even, your girlfriends, anyone that needs a pick-me-up. It's lots of fun. Now these rainbow dies would be perfect for cutting out pattern paper with or colored cardstock. I just did some ink blending on them today, but you could use Copic markers on them. You could color them with pencil crayons. You could do whatever you want with them. And they turn out super cute every time. I love that inlaid look of the rainbow. I believe Candace actually did a beautiful set using like some glittery papers, like rose golds and all that. And she didn't have the background piece in there. So like that's optional. You can always just use the little rainbow pieces without that little white background piece. And hers turned out beautiful. I believe she made a card set too. And it's just gorgeous. And there we are. So now all my backgrounds are on. So now I'm going to be applying all my rainbows quickly with my 3M foam tape like I did before. Just super jiffy. So how is everyone having a nice summer out there? It's been kind of rainy here the last couple of days, a few thunderstorms here and there. But it's, we've had some beautiful days. I can't complain. A few humid ones, but we won't complain in Canada and in Thunder Bay, Canada, because, it gets cold here in the winter. And everyone always complains when it's cold. I don't want to be complaining when it's hot. Geez, it's hot. So there we are. Now we're sped right up. We're going to be putting the suns on each one quickly, putting the glasses and the eyes on each one quickly, and the eyeballs on each one quickly. Super fast. Now I'll just be applying all of my sentiments, which is, like I said, super quick. It's cute. Now all my little Pretty Pink Posh Sparkling Clear Sequin mix is going on. And now I've decided to add some Nouveau Crystal Drops because I can't help myself. And I'll be adding them just to the center of those Sparkling Clear confetti on each card, just to give it a little something something. And I really love how these cards turned out. Sometimes the simple ones are the most graphic. They pop the most. And these are just, plain fun. You can't argue with how cute these are. You put anything in a pair of glasses and it's just too darn cute for words. But anyways, like I said, everyone is fine in our place these days. My husband's work, actually, they went back to work. I think half the amount of the office can go in. And he's still working from home off and on. But like I said, half the office is in. And they'll be rotating. So maybe I'll get my dining room table back at some point. I don't know. It's a miracle. I might have a dining room table that I can use. And now I'm just tapping those droplets to make sure they flatten nicely. And then I'll be adding my last little drips. There we are. Well, thank you so much for dropping by today and watching me make another card set for the Hop. And remember to hop along and see all my design team's products. They are amazing as always. I always get inspired by them, and I'm sure you do too. They always look at things differently and give me different ideas on how to use our excellent products at Jaded Blossom. And you need this release, especially the rainbow dies and the glasses dies. You just have to have them. Thank you so much for stopping by, and we'll see you next time. Bye, everyone.